What's up, everybody? So this is a follow-up video regarding GeForce Now, some tech support issues I had. I'll link the original video in the description for those who want to know about that. Long story short, I was having some issues with blurry textures, more specifically regarding this map. Of course, no thanks to GeForce Now support. I actually found the answer on my own, and ultimately what it ended up being is you need to have high quality materials checkmarked. Since you can't restart in GeForce Now without ending a session, there's no way to actually enable that. So unless you're on top tier, and technically both of these need to be on, but unless you're on top tier, you're pretty much screwed. So you're basically stuck with a blurry map. So ultimately, and I guess you can kind of call this a review because I've been testing priority tier on GeForce Now. I've tested free tier, testing priority, and so far I hadn't had any complaints right up until I ran into ARK. And like I said, a lot of this has to do with just blurry textures, not being able to read the map. I mean, as you can tell, it just looks complete dog crap. It's unreadable. You know, that would get old after looking at it for a while. So, if you are looking into GeForce Now, honestly, if you're getting it for ARK, unless you're willing to go top tier, which is basically like $100 every 6 months or $20 a month, it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth it at all. The other thing I want to say, when you contact them regarding an issue with the game, they don't know what they're talking about. That they have absolutely no idea. They will run you through circles regarding client issues with the GeForce Now client, even though you specifically tell them it's in-game settings you're having the issue with. They're going to run you through a bunch of crap. Like I had them ask me if what platforms I tried it on, i.e., like my phone. I turned around and had them have me log it in through a web browser. I've cycled through every setting, even though I knew it was pointless. I went along with it, cycled through every setting. Also, I don't know if they get the full ticket because even after I put the ticket in for Ark Survival Evolved, they turned around and asked me if I was talking about Lost Ark. Like, no, I'm talking about Ark Survival Evolved. Are you talking about Ark Survival of the Fittest? No, I'm talking about Ark Survival Evolved. So I went through this roughly about 3 times being asked if I'm talking about Ark Survival Evolved, when it clearly stated from the very first letter or thing that I sent them in the ticket, I'm talking about Ark Survival Evolved. Are you talking about the PC version? Yes, I'm talking about the freaking PC version. So, either they're hiring incredibly stupid people to provide support to us, or they are really not being provided the tools that they need. They're not seeing the entire ticket. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, just yeah. And so ultimately, I haven't heard back from them because I did put in a request. I wanted to see if this was something they could do, if they could just enable those features. They have not responded. They have not gotten back to me. They have told me absolute jack. The only thing they did tell me in a very polite manner was basically, screw you, you can upgrade to Ultimate. And as I told them, I'm like, you guys aren't motivating me to want to upgrade. If anything, you're motivating me to want to cancel. So, yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. Of course, I jumped in on this when it was like $29.99, so I paid for the 6 months. So I'm gonna burn that time. Obviously, I'm gonna use it. I paid for it, might as well. However, I don't know if I'm going to renew a subscription with them. If I do, it would only be to review the ultimate tier. If I do that, I don't know if I'll do a straight 6 months though. I might do a month on that one. I don't know yet. I'm on a fence post with that. Um, because a few things I already didn't like, which I informed them, was the fact that basics, basic features like being able to save your settings, that should be included if you're a paying customer. Uh, Other things that I don't like, I didn't mention to them, but I'll mention on the video, is the fact that when you're paying for a service, I don't necessarily agree with the whole 6 hour session here and 8 hour session there. It's sort of like the same concept of an MMO. If you pay for a service, you should be able to log into it and use it whenever you want to. And I also don't like the little timer that they give you. Like, say, if you go AFK, go fix a sandwich, and you come back, you're kicked out of your game. So these are all things that are kind of off-putting to me with this service. When you're playing the service, I haven't had too much in the way of performance issues in that regard. I haven't had really any issues on that. More with Fortnite, I would say, if anything. I've had a couple of crash issues with the client, but it sorted itself out. And overall, honestly, it has been kind of fun. I mean, playing around with it, being able to jump from game to game without having to install and uninstall. But at the same time, there are some things that, like I said, I don't really care about, like, the fact that I will have a graphic setting that I can't apply, because if I try to cancel the game and restart it, if I exit and restart, it ends the session before I can restart the game. And they basically say, "Oh, we don't recommend you upgrading your settings." Well, I should be allowed to upgrade my settings. I mean, even your lowest end card ought to be able to handle this game. There should be no reason why you shouldn't be able to upgrade your settings. Absolutely no reason at all. So I'm kind of half and half on GeForce. Honestly, if I had to deal with support, I would say the support sucks ass. The service isn't bad. It's definitely one of those I would tell you test out the free tier. Now I could understand there being restrictions on the free tier. Make sure it runs for you. If you go priority, understand you're going to be kind of screwed on certain games, because if you have this issue with Ark Survival Evolved, for example, because they use the same engine, Ark Survival of the Fittest is going to have a problem, and you're more than likely going to have a problem with Atlas as well too on priority tier. So those are the three games that I would probably definitely go ultimate on. Probably the only thing that I did like about this platform was the fact that if you own the game or whatever, you can play, on their platform. That's more preferable to me than rebuying the game on a cloud service or whatever that can go out of business at any given moment in time. So, there is that. Um, Also, just a heads up to everybody, if you haven't updated your Steam client, you're probably going to want to look into seeing if there's a way you can block that from updating, at least for the time being, because they did an update, and you are definitely going to have at least 1 gig of RAM allocated to your Steam client alone. That's right. You heard me right. And you lost a couple of features as well too. I've seen people complaining on the forums that they're not able to use custom skins anymore. So yeah, a lot of people are not happy with Steam at the moment. But you know, they screwed us before like this, and so I doubt that they're gonna care now. They didn't care then. But it definitely went from being a lightweight client to basically being a heavyweight client because when I opened up Task Manager to see how much RAM it was eating up, I was fluctuating between 500, 600 megs to a gig, you know, even slightly a little bit over, you know. So also, you know, it depends on if you're, you know, like you got your overlay on and all that other fun stuff. But you know, bottom line, it's you got to have at least 1 gig of RAM allocated for your Steam client now. So yeah, joy joy. But that is the upside to testing out GeForce Now is I don't have to really worry about dealing with that too much on my computer presently at the moment or whatever. A lot of the other older titles that I have on Steam personally, I can run without the client. So I would highly recommend looking into alternatives on how to run your Steam games without necessarily running that client if you need that extra gig of RAM. So overall, I think that covers everything that I have to say. So probably not my best review, but it is my GeForce Now review um, slash Steam update. Yeah. Just don't go priority tier if you are playing ARK only, unless you just don't mind being stuck on medium settings. Because one of the things I did notice is even if you try to bump it up to higher epic, it's like the game is trying to force you to stay on medium. They don't update properly. It doesn't reflect properly. I tested it out between this and you know on my own stuff. So yeah, and it's just hard. It's hard. I don't know what else to really say about that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Take care and stay safe, everyone.